Welcome back to S Wiggins TV. I'm your host, Worldwide Wiggins. Today, we're going to do something called Small Hood Wars. This one right here is vicious. Today, we're going to be talking about the war, the untold war, between the Paybacc Crips and the Cycos 13 in Gardena. This program is intended as a history lesson, and I know it has a little racial tension in there, but it's unintended. Just covering a throwback moment in history. You wig? At this point, I ain't gotta introduce Paybacc Crips. They need no introduction. They hail from Vermont and El Segundo, all the way down to Normandy, pushing even past Rosecrans, I heard. So the Gardena Paybacc Crips have been in Gardena for decades. You should know that. They have had beef with neighborhood Crips, most of the Rolling Crips, Bloods, and Paul Rules. But one beef that is often forgotten about was they beef with the Cycos, a Latino gang that once resided in Gardena. Cycos pretty much occupy half the turf as the Paybaccs, and their main street/area was on 130th between Normandy and Budlow. Now, I don't want y'all getting the wrong idea because the Paybaccs is real cool with other Mexican hoods like Gardena 13. So ninjas ain't just being racist, it ain't a color issue. It's something else, and let's get to it. In 1989, a crew of Latinos called the Brotherhood Club formed in the South Bay. They would tag all over Gardena. The Paybaccs would see this and set trip on them like, thinking the obvious like, oh, BH, oh, y'all some bounty hunters, which are Bloods and Watts. But the Brotherhood Club insisted, nah, we not bounty hunters, we Brotherhood Club. We on our own wave, you know what I'm saying? We our own crew. To show their sincerity, they would even go as far as whacking out the biz. Now in 1990, there was an individual who lost his life near the Winchells, near Rosecrans and Normandy, which is where the Pizza Hut is at now. All the old school, old ass real LAians / Gardenians and Comptonians and South Bayans know what I'm talking about. That Pizza Hut right there in the shopping center with it's across the street from the gas station and all of that. Starbucks, yeah, it used to be a Winchell's. But that incident allegedly stemmed from a beef between the Southlos and the Brotherhood Club, now known as the Cycos. Now you may be wondering, well, Wiggins, how does this beef even convert to the Paybacc Crips? Well, according to my older homie, they started beefing with the Paybaccs initially because the little homies for Paybaccs had little respect for them. Because they wasn't down with the Gardena 13, they didn't really respect them. Yeah, they felt like they named it a really whole way. So the little homies for Paybaccs would beat them up, and the big homies for Paybacc would screw them over. The Cycos used to have Pookie and the powder, and the older Paybaccs would take it from them, or get fronted and never pay them. So all in all, the Paybacc Crips was bullying the out of the Cycos. But eventually, the Cycos said enough is enough and opened fire. Here's one crazy event. In December of 1991, now a certain Paybacc, not gonna say his name, we gonna call him D. D took some dope from a Cyco, allegedly, while they was chilling in an alley, and called him a derogatory racist name, saying, hey, cuz don't bring your blankety blank behind back around here, after he jacked him. And the Paybaccs was in the alley like 10 deep. D knocked him out, and, proceeded to go out shooting dice and smoking sherb and just left him sleep out there. When the Cyco woke up, another Paybacc, up the Tiznizak Nizine on him and bust at him and ran him out the area. This would soon cause trouble. And people that was around the situation even told me like, oh, cuz shouldn't have did that. Because they felt like, hey, it was finna go down. Man, the Cycos doubled back and shot two of the Paybacc Crips, allegedly. And they shot up certain members of the Paybac's mama house. I mean, bussin'. And from there, the beef went up. This infuriated the Paybaccs, and they went full-fledged. And there was a series of back and forth shootings between the two hoods that got very bloody and vicious. And if you lived around El Segundo in Vermont in the early 90s, that place was a straight war zone. But the crazy part is they both shared this territory growing up. his neighbors. It was friends since they was little kids, attending 135th Street Elementary School. Man, the homie told me allegedly the Cycos was real tactical, when they was beefing with the Paybaccs, man. They would slide through with chops, wetting at smokers, and anybody they seen out there. They didn't give a They was vicious. Cycos also beefed with Barrio 13, South Los 13, Gardena 13, Village Boys Watch 13, and Tampa 13 in Inglewood. But it was the beef with the Paybacc Crips that really became a game changer for them. The Cycos were never really that large of a gang to begin with. And with reputable enemies like Paybacc and Gardena 13 in such close proximity, their chances of thriving was even smaller. Now, as I mentioned, when they was established as the Brotherhood Club, they only had about no more than 20 members. And they battled with the Paybaccs for almost 20 years. Now, I don't like saying the hood is wiped out because I like to be respectful. Plus, if you learned anything from watching my channel, they got people out there that'll never let their hood die, even if it's only 3 of them. They will push that hood to the end. And to be honest, you gotta feel it, you know what I'm saying? One of the factors in the Cycos' downfall is the fact that they wasn't doing a lot of recruiting. Also, besides casualties of war and members going to prison, they hood fell victim to many of their members getting deported and or just relocating to other parts of LA and growing out of the gangbanging life. But the war between the Paybaccs and the Cycos was really crucial in the 90s, according to the reports, and a good chunk of people got chipped or went to jail behind this beef. Matter of fact, if you check out the hood interview segment on the LA classic street film called Dead Homies, you can see multiple Paybacc Crips banging the distant Cycos, just to show you how real it was back then.
So that's Deuce from Westside Paybacc Crip, the Cyco Killer.
Notorious gangster and local Westside Paybacc Gardena Crip gang, 129th Street, Psycho Killer Ray Mark murder. July 187.
I'm Baby Ness from Westside Paybacc Crip, 129th Street, Psycho Killer.
OG Bam, 129th Street, Psycho Killer.
A little bit from Westside Paybacc Crip gang, you know what I'm saying, Psycho Killer, and everybody else killer.
Now, eventually, around the mid-2000s, the Cycos started to fade out, and they relocated to Lancaster in Bakersfield. The Paybacc Crips put in a lot of work, and I wish I could tell y'all some of the stories, but yeah, they stood the test of time and are still around to this day. Shouts out to everybody, man. Black or brown, we need to put the tension to the side, man. But yeah, man, let's keep the peace, man. And oh, by the way, let me know if you like it, bro. Let me know if you like this here. I got a few small hood wars, man, I'm finna be dropping, man. So y'all let me know if you like this one. And this one was a remix. I put this out before. But let me know. I'm out of here.